All right, we are back. We're kicking it old school because we're a couple old fools. Me and STL creeping on into his third decade. Whoa, let me rephrase that. His fourth decade on the planet. There we go. So we were leaving off here with one Zobrist, whom I missed because he was all the way down there at 3.5. So I like that.
Scroll all the way to the bottom, man. You can find some hidden gems down there.
There are. It gets to be real exciting when that happens. We'll get into our secret third baseman, but we found somebody that was awesome, perennial all-star that was actually below Chris Johnson on Saturday. So we'll have to chat about that one when we get on to third base. But while everybody's catching up with us and hopping on in here, anybody else at second base that you really want to cover? We talked about Kinsler, we talked about Scooter Gannett, we talked about Kenobi, maybe a little pricey tonight, especially once we discovered how good that Tyson Ross actually was against lefties. We like Daniel Murphy, jack of all trades. I like him because he reminds me of Carpenter. And then we said no to Colton Wong today because he's batting 8th. And then yes to Zobrist. So I think that brings us all up to speed here. Third base, our secret third baseman, who's not as cheap as he was this weekend, but he's very cheap still on several sites. That would be David Wright. You can get him at $3,700 on Draft Street, $5,400 on Star Street, $5,300 on Fantasy Feud. Those prices are too hard to ignore. I think you have to put him on your roster at those prices on those sites.
Yeah, he's been cheap on Draft Street all year long. I've been playing him a lot over there. Yeah, I think he's a great play where he's cheap. Trying to scroll through where he's at on DraftKings. He's still $4,200 on DraftKings. Might be a bit high over there, but for sure on the sites where he's cheaper, I think he's a solid play.
Yes, definitely like that. So now that we've got people are coming back in, I can see the chat count or the counts coming up for our viewership. People are catching up. We'll ease on into third base, and I gotta say, Longo Dongo, that was a fun weekend. I enjoyed the ride for my new favorite man crush. Now that Prince Fielder and I are on a break, we are officially on a break. So whatever happens,
I thought it was Tyson Ross though, Emac.
He is the naughty person, the naughty person that I should not like, that keeps just crushing my dreams, and because I'm a guy, I like that. So apparently I'm going to be chasing him down tonight. I was talking with Justin off air, and I said, don't I just have to, on principle, pay in for the 109 FanDuel qualifier and get him on a team, because he owes me after costing me 2 times in a row, 2 seconds and a third, and now they seemingly have done away with the $10 contest, and I think the $25 is going to be fewer and far between, so I'm going to have to pony up here if I want to get in there. Longo Dongo, let's get back to that. Lefty matchup today. He did some of his damage against righties this weekend. Has he righted the ship? Is this a new trend? What are your thoughts on him? And then roll in with your third baseman. I got a whole passel of them here.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, he used to be an auto target against left-handed pitching, so tonight against Chen, a pitcher who struggled at times this year, very hit or miss. I think Longoria is definitely a guy you can target tonight. Price tag still pretty reasonable on some sites. I believe he's $4,300 on DraftKings. Again, a bit pricey there. Let's see, yeah, $4,300 on DraftKings. But I still don't mind him at that price, especially since guys like Josh Donaldson aren't on my radar tonight with his big slump. Cabrera is third base eligible on DraftKings if you want to go that route. He certainly has a decent matchup. But I find myself going down a little bit with most of my third base plays tonight. I really like Brock Holt. Mentioned we like the left-handed bats for the Red Sox against Kevin Correa. They have a slew of them. And Brock Holt leading off has been a great fit for that Red Sox offense. I do think that they're going to score some runs tonight against Correa, so if you want a piece of that, I don't mind Brock Holt at 4K. And one of my other top plays, again, we'll pick on Jason Vargas one more time. I like Nick Castellanos as well. He's been hitting very well lately. I believe has 4 or 5 3-hit games in the last couple of weeks. So he's starting to hit the ball kind of how a lot of people expected earlier in the season. I'm just checking. He's batting 7th tonight for the Tigers. I think he's okay, especially for 3,500 on DraftKings against the lefty. That would be where I target him for sure. Not a whole lot else that I love. Throw another second base play out there. I don't mind. I saw that Logan Forsythe is in the lineup for Tampa Bay. I don't mind him as a punt at second base if you want to go that route. But I don't see much else at third. Matt Carpenter, where he's cheaper, could be a decent play, but I'm not in love with that play tonight. I think the book might be out there on DeGrom a little bit. He's been getting hit, much more frequently his last few starts. So I don't mind Carpenter, but most of my teams are probably going to have Holt or Longoria. That seems to be kind of where I'm heading tonight.
All right. Well, actually, that's good because I had totally overlooked Holt today, which is odd because I kind of like him, and I was watching not this weekend but the weekend before, and I was like, oh, he's a third baseman. All of a sudden, he makes a catch at the warning track, and I hear him saying Holt on Sunday Night Baseball, and I had to rewind it, and then I had to IM Stevie because I know he's our resident Boston guy. I'm like, what the hell? I thought this guy was a third baseman. He's out there looking like Willie Mays in the outfield. That was a great catch.
That was a great catch.
I should be aware of him more. There's so many people we're tracking, but thank you for pointing him out. I think that's a good one for me. I really like Carpenter. He's leading off tonight for the Cardinals, and he gets the lefty-righty matchup as Justin mentioned that DeGrom is just not pitching as well as he did his first couple outings. The other guys that I like all have tougher matchups when we look at them with what their pitchers are doing. So we got Beltre. He's got, his little issues. We got Seager, who is going against Tyson Ross, who's a little better than we thought. We've got Aris Ramirez, who is going against Card's favorite pitcher of the night, his new man crush. He's going to wear his pajamas tonight, Brandon McCarthy. And then we got David Wright, who's pricey as hell on some sides for his production, and others he has actually broken the algorithm because of his production. So I don't know. It's one of those salted taste nights at third base. You have many, many ways you can go. I don't think we're going to see a lot of overlap from that standpoint. Anybody else you would like to cover at the hot corner?
No, I think that's it. Miguel Rojas is starting for the Dodgers tonight against rookie left-handed pitcher Matzik for the Rockies. He's in play as a punt, but he's not third base eligible on DraftKings. I'm not sure where he is on FanDuel. He's shortstop eligible on DraftKings, and he's 2K. So he's playing third base, but I guess that transitions us into shortstop with him as an option at the bare minimum price tag if you want to go that route at short.
Well, let me transition us in and out and all around the shortstop position with Sean Rodriguez. Depending on which site you are on, he could be outfield, he could be second base, he could be shortstop. The jack of all trades. I like him today. He is up, let me just double check if I remember correctly. Yes, he is up in the order, batting sixth against Wuying Chen. I don't mind him there. I was kind of hoping he was going to get Yuniel Escobar's spot because I feel he has a little bit better numbers in the most recent term in the righty-lefty matchups than Escobar, but there's Escobar at second. I don't think you can really go wrong with either one of them from that standpoint. Pick whomever is cheaper on your site. Hanley Ramirez, this just in cards, he is pretty darn good, and cortisone is a legal substance.
Yeah, the shoulder worries me with him, but if you're spending, and this is what presents the challenge, if you're stacking Dodgers or something against Matzik, you cannot take Rojas and Hanley because they're both only shortstop eligible. I don't mind him if you're spending. I don't think he's a must-play by any means, but I like him as a play. And also just in the World Cup game is 8 minutes in, and the USA has already scored a goal. So if you're following the World Cup, the U.S. is up 1-0 on Ghana. So go Team USA.
There we go. Look at that. There's a chance. So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying there's a chance.
What are we in the group of death? Do we always claim
Yes.
to be in the group of death because we're just not the most stalwart power?
I don't know. I mean, it is Germany just blew the doors off of Portugal today, so there's an opportunity for the U.S. to advance, especially if they can win this game today.
All right. To that I say, Achtung, baby! There we are. So Hanley Ramirez, 396 WOBA in his opposite-handed matchups. We like that. We talked about Scooter Gannett. Some sites do have him as shortstop. our sponsor DraftKings does. He will be my shortstop on a lot of teams. We have Jed Lowry, jack of all trades, hits righties well, hits lefties well. Hey, he's a switch hitter, so he's got the platoon advantages on his sides in all situations. And I forget, you'll know this one, Cards. I know one side he's power and one side he's average, and it's funny that it's not the same, but he does, I don't know, you can't go wrong with him. But I always forget, is it righty or lefty? Get confused on that one. Do you know?
Who are you talking about?
Jed Lowry.
No, he doesn't. I don't know. He just seems to not have any power this year. So I'll
this
be honest,
year, I know that's the frustrating part. Because normally you can always say, "Oh, well, when he turns around, he's not getting hit as much, but he gets all his power from this side." And I can't remember which side it is.
I've just been burned by him so many times this year. He's kind of off of my radar right now. But I don't know. He's cheap on a lot of sites. So against Colby Lewis, who's better against right-handed bats, I wouldn't waste my time with Lowry tonight. Cash games, I think he's okay. He just doesn't have that upside this year. I can't peg him right, so.
Yeah, well, after writing him up both days this weekend, I swore off him, and then I looked at his price today, and I thought, well, one more chance. We're a forgiving country, America, that we are, even if we're not a soccer power. You know what? I think I know the problem. Is everybody else is playing football, and they're not playing our kind of football. I challenge the world to football. Not soccer, football. There we go. We'll be back on top. And I am the ugly American. All right. Shortstops beyond that. Oh, Starlin Castro. Hey,
yeah, love him tonight.
He's multiple hits. He's getting some home runs. Now, funny enough, it's all righty-righty power this year, much like Johnny Peralta, who is also on my list. But Starlin Castro is really picking things up. I don't mind him at all. 3.9 on our sponsor. I believe he's all the way down at 2.7. I expect to see a lot of him on FanDuel in the Survivor contest.
Yeah, righty power, and Tom Kohler is a reverse splits pitcher. Struggles a lot worse against right-handed bats. That sets up very well for Starlin Castro tonight.
Yeah, so I'm really liking that. But those more or less my guys. So a lot of Scooter. If I'm paying up, it's going to be Hanley. I can't quit Lowry just yet, so we'll see about that. If I'm punting, I'm going for the cheapest for Sean Rodriguez, where he's shortstop eligible, or Yuniel Escobar. And then Castro is probably going to be the bulk of my volume. A little bit of Johnny Peralta thrown in there because he, too, has the righty-righty goodness going on. And I'm just seeing, oh, he's batting 7th. Oh, interesting. All right. So those are my guys. Anybody else out there that we've thrown a ton out there at that position? I don't think there's a true good play. It all depends on what site you're doing. And
yeah, Suarez, if he's still cheap, he's batting 9th. So I wouldn't be taking Suarez on DraftKings, batting 9th at like 3,700. That's just, or whatever he is, high 3s, I think. Just too expensive unless you're stacking Tigers to take Suarez. If you're doing that in a cash game on DraftKings, that strikes me a little weird. But if he's still cheap on some sites, I can't pin it right now what he is on FanDuel, but Suarez is completely price dependent.
All right, give me 1 second. I'll look that up. I also promised somebody in chat that I would attempt to say his first name. I believe it's, well, if I was going with the American pronunciation, I would say Eugenio, but I'm guessing it's Eugenio or something along those lines.
Good enough.
With the appropriate accent and pronunciation of which I have neither. FanDuel 3K, that's a little pricey for me. Star Street 65.
I don't know. There's really no reason for that price with him batting 9th to take him over Starlin Castro batting cleanup against a reverse splits pitcher.
Yeah, so let's not go that route. All right, we will do a Star Street Pick 5. We will do a Rapid Fire Max. But before we get there, I want to throw out there that there is some overlay brewing here on DraftKings, our sponsor site. Now, I know there's a big contest that can get you can turn $55 into $1,000 tonight. Cards. I'm sensing you will have a couple entries in that contest.
Yeah, I think I have 80 in there right now.
Oh, boy!
Here's my rationale. Before we talk about me having 80 entries in that thing, I did 16 different trains of 5 each for 80. Okay, so that's like I think it's like $4,400 of entry fees. All I need is one of those 16 to hit to get myself $5,000 back. This has worked the first 3 times I've done it. So, if just one of those 16 different 5-team trains happens to hit, I make, a little bit of a profit out of it. If 2 of them happens to hit, it's a really nice night. And if I don't get any, I probably won't do that again. So, I don't know. The experiment has worked so far. We'll see how it works tonight. I've got a lot of Brandon McCarthy,
Here's your chance to prove Brandon McCarthy wrong. Vote with your dollars, America. There's 200 spots left in the turn yourself into a $55 small roller into a wow, I've got $1,000 in my account bankroll. Now you got to be top 5% in that contest. So
I'm hoping with 16 I can get at least one in the top 5%. I don't know. Of the 80 teams, 40 of them have McCarthy. So there you go. I'm not lying. I'm not throwing it out. 80 teams, 40 of them with McCarthy, 40 of them without.
No, and see, I like this. Now, the next person in chat, because I know they're going to be a little behind that, bitches about this, and Cards is putting too much money in there. He's doing this, that, and the other. He is playing Indian poker with us. He is just showing us his card, all right? We know half of his teams have McCarthy. If you think he's insane, jump in there, because that's a lot of entries that have McCarthy.
I'm dead money.
All right, we'll watch that. We are accepting donations now. Call 1-800-PICK-ON-CARDS.
At least that game doesn't start until like 9:40, so by the time McCarthy gets blasted, everyone will be asleep.
Yes, but the beauty of Twitter is it never sleeps. So.
Yeah, but I can just ignore it the next day and pretend like I never saw it.
All right. That's a good. Oh, too funny. Okay, so we're gonna get back into outfield. I have one play.
Scott Van Slyke?
That's it. I'm going to put him in all 3 outfield spots. 519 WOBA in his platoon splits this season. That is insane. I was there for the double dong. I was there for the 3 home runs in 5 games. Yeah, I'm doing. He's our new Scott Harrison, right?
You think there's merit to fading him tonight?
No, he's too cheap. Tonight he's still too cheap. The pricing hasn't caught up with him. He's about the 20th or lower priced outfielder on most sites. 3K on multiple. I don't have it up anymore where he is here.
It's 3K on DraftKings, 3,200 on FanDuel.
Yeah, FanDuel I could see. He's going to be so heavily owned. There's your survivor play. Get him on your lineups just for the block. But I could see fading him a little bit there because there's some guys at 2,700 I don't mind more than him on that. But yeah, at 3K on DraftKings, you gotta start with that. I also like Yasiel Puig, who is pretty darn good. So that's my tough analysis there. Talk to me about Kemp. I wanted to include him, then I didn't, and now I don't know.
What if we know that he's batting cleanup tonight?
I would like that. That would make me happier. But see, now all of a sudden I've got the whole Dodger outfield on my team, and I don't know.
Well, they're batting 3-4-5. Van Slyke's playing first. Gonzalez is out tonight, so Ethier's in there as well. So you've got Puig, Kemp, and Van Slyke 3-4-5. I don't think that's necessarily bad.
No, I can get behind that. The 3-4-5 is very. I like that. I like that a lot. I didn't realize Gonzalez was out, but that makes sense. So yeah, okay. But his prime, I mean, he's like 3,600 on FanDuel. That's just a bit much. We would have been loving this 2 years ago for that price, but now you're like, he dates Rihanna, and then bad things happen, and then good things happen, and I don't know. That's analysis. That's kind of my WOBA. As I look at her and I say, whoa, she is an attractive woman. Anyway, enough about that. Let's talk about St. Louis Cardinals. Little Matt Holliday. He's been slumping, and I went a little bargain shopping today, and I did not get bargains on Matt Holliday, and I'm disappointed by that, except for on Fantasy Feud.
Yeah.
And then
FanDuel is not too bad. 3,100 on FanDuel is not bad.
Yeah, I would actually play him over Van Slyke there if I wasn't going for the block. I'd rather him at 31. Than Van Slyke at 32. But what about him and Alan Craig?
I like the way Holliday's swinging a little bit better. Holliday did hit a home run yesterday and has seemingly hit into a little more tough luck than Craig has. And I tend to believe that Holliday's got a bit more pop in his bat these days. Craig just hasn't seemed right since he hurt his shoulder last season. A shoulder injury always a concern for a big bat like his. So I would lean towards Holliday over Craig. that's probably where I'd go if you're taking an outfield play from the Cardinals. Also, don't mind Gerardo Parra leading off for the Diamondbacks tonight. We mentioned Brandon Moss, where you can throw him in at outfield. Cole Calhoun might be a sneaky play. He's been hitting the ball pretty well of late, and the Angels seem convinced of keeping him in the leadoff spot. And you're batting ahead of Mike Trout and Albert Pujols. That's a great place to be, especially if you can get on base a few times. So I don't mind him. There's some other plays, but I'm really, really high on those Dodgers outfielders. I think I'll have more exposure to them than the field. As much as you'd expect. Bobby Abreu is batting cleanup for the Mets again tonight. If you want to go there, if you need a cheap punt play that's batting in a good spot in the order that's not named Scott Manslag, you could take a flyer on Bobby Abreu. Other than that, not a ton to get extremely excited about. I mean, if you want to go with Adam Jones, I don't mind Adam Jones. He's been hitting very well over the past couple weeks. Maybe somebody from the Tigers. The Tigers should score some runs off of Jason Vargas. If you want a completely minimum play, here's a FanDuel-based play. Daniel Nava for the Red Sox is bare minimum over there. I think he's a really good play, especially for those Survivor-type contests.
All right, so I've got a couple to add to this. But if you are tracking at home, and I'm sure some of you are, you now know 4 of the 11 players that are on Cards DraftKings team. We have the Dodgers outfield so far, and we have Brandon McCarthy. All right, let's see what else we can discover.
A lot of Brandon McCarthy. 40 out of 80 for Brandon McCarthy.
All right, here we go. You stole my thunder with Bobby Abreu, but now that you're old, you got to like him too, Cards.
That's right.
2.5 on FanDuel, 2.7 on DraftKings, 5.1 on Draft Day, and he has a 388 WOBA dating back to last year in lefty-righty matchups. He is cheap. He can get home runs. He's batting cleanup. I like that. I think that's definitely a place we want to get him in there, especially if we're paying up at first base for somebody like Brandon Moss. Speaking of Brandon Moss, he has a couple of teammates that I've got my eye on tonight, Cards, and I want your expert opinion. We have Yoenis Cespedes, who do not ever sleep on him when he's in righty-righty matchups. He is very, very good. And then we've got Coco Crisp, and I need to double-check and see if Crisp was in the lineup tonight. They've been managing a neck issue.
He is.
If it's not that, it's something else, though. He what does he play? Three games, and you just don't touch him because you know he's going to dig something up. God, when he plays, he is a beast. He can hit for a little power. He can steal. He's in the mix of everything. He's up in the lineup, so he's one of my favorite players to watch. He's got great hair. I don't, so I like that too. But yeah, Coco Crisp. Give us a little more in depth on why you would potentially lean towards the Oakland outfield over the Dodger outfield, or are you just not? Is it Dodgers all the way? Dodger blue today.
Yeah, I don't think I would, but again, you can make a case for the lefties against Colby Lewis, who just struggles so bad against left-handed bats. So I would give Crisp the edge over Cespedes there. I don't know why. I guess Cespedes still has the upside, but I got burned by Coco Crisp yesterday because it was a lefty-lefty matchup. I actually left him off of an Oakland stack, and he had like 28 points on DraftKings. And even though Oakland had 10 runs, I wasn't towards the top of a lot of those GPPs because I didn't have Coco Crisp. I think he's a great option leading off. So if you're taking one guy, assuming your site that you're on has Moss at first base, Crisp would be the one I'd take, at outfield leading off. But I still give the Dodgers guys, the Dodgers righties, the edge. If you look at Tyler Matzek's numbers in the minors against right-handed bats, they're just awful. So I can't imagine things being better in the big leagues against the Dodgers, although he was very good against the Braves in his first start. I wouldn't expect that to continue again tonight.
All right. Well, chat's on me. You guys get to say Asdrubal Cabrera, and I can't say Yoenis Cespedes. Come on. Goes both ways. Goes both ways, fellas. Let's get there. Exit only, though. Exit only, if we're getting personal. Let's see. Yeah, that's really it. I mean, you've talked me into these Dodgers. Abreu is my cheapie. The Oakland guys. I've got a couple St. Louis guys. Austin Jackson is the guy I'm casting my lot with over there on Detroit. You were mentioning the Detroit guys. That's really it for me. Yesterday there was a plethora of outfielders in play. There are again today, but it's more concentrated. And it looks like I'm pairing up teammates for whatever reason tonight, which I do like to do even in my cash games. So we got 5 minutes left. Chat, fire up some quick hit questions here. Cards and I are going to do a rapid fire. We'll do a pick 5. No pressure cards, but Stevie and I got 4 out of 5 on the rapid fire. So we'll start off with that one and see how well we can do. Leading off is Miguel Cabrera, and we have Mike Trout. Now, we have not discussed Mike Trout today. I think he's just a little too pricey to go for him today. I'm finding too much other love for some of the outfielders we've mentioned. But when we're taking him head-to-head with Miguel Cabrera, I'm still taking Miguel Cabrera. Who are you going with?
I'll take Miggy against Vargas. I think the Tigers will score some more runs tonight.
All right. I tried Mike Trout. I couldn't talk myself into on there. Justin Upton or Michael Brantley, 2 additional players that we did not talk about. I had a lot of both of them yesterday. I don't really have any.
I'll take Brantley. I don't, even though it's lefty-righty and Upton has really good stats against left-handed pitching, I don't like him against Hamels.
Yeah, Hamels is a tough guy to go against. Here's a good one. Kinsler or Kipnis? We didn't mention Kipnis.
Yeah, Kinsler, pretty easy for me tonight.
I got to go with Kinsler.
Really good numbers against Vargas.
I always say, interesting when it looks like there's not when there's an obvious one, because it makes me say, did I miss something by not talking about Kipnis, Trout, Upton, Brantley, all these guys. Chris Davis or Evan Longoria, 2 guys whose star have fallen a little bit this year with the power.
Yeah, now we're thinking about.
We got Chen.
We're thinking about floor here with the rapid fire. I'll take Longoria. I think Davis has more upside, but in this type of format, I'll take Longoria.
I would agree, and that's the thing I like to mention on these shows. We talk about floor for baseball. For basketball, we need the upside in these games, but in baseball, with the failure rate, you need floor from your guys. So I will agree. Evan Longoria, plus he's weaker matchup. But damn, last year we would have had a different answer for this one. And then finally, we've got 2 high-powered second basemen. We have Chase Utley going against our top pitcher of the day, Julio Teheran, or Robinson Cano going against my Great White Buffalo, Tyson Ross.
I'll take Cano.
Yes, I will agree. I'm not taking any Atlanta bats. I'm not taking any Philly bats. That makes it easy. So
there's also some concern I see in the chat about the weather there. I, to be honest, haven't looked yet. So if there's some storms brewing in the Atlanta area, might be a little bit of concern with Teheran and Hamels. That might just force me into more exposure of Brandon McCarthy. But keep an eye on that before you set your lineups for sure.
Yeah, I'll call it up. We'll see. We're on old school, so sometimes it's kind of
it would take me a wing and a prayer to get that up before the show is over.
Yes. So with that, we like Miggy, we like Brantley, we like Kinsler, we like Longoria, and we like Cano. And the reason I'm not going with Upton or Utley is I like the pitchers. Those were my 2 close calls. I'm gonna have to do 11 to win 200 cards. This is when it's good when we match up similarly. Warren and I are butting heads on these. We're not matching up, but we did that and Stevie did that. Now I will say this weekend Warren was right. Last weekend I was right. So you never know. These things are fun. They make it tough. I'm looking at the weather. I'm not seeing anything that's going to make me freak out on this. So, but check out that a little more. I don't know if Draft Cheat or Al, they're not going to be in chat. I was going to say there are weather guys, but they're probably watching the World Cup.
They're watching soccer right now.
Yeah, so we're going to have to guess on that. But perhaps there will be a post. If you guys go check the message board real quick and report back to us, maybe our new weather guy has put something up there. So we got about 2 minutes left. Let's quickly do our Star Street Pick 5. We have Cole Hamels and Teheran. Here it is. Let me just tell you, the win is worth 6 on Star Street, so it's not a big factor with their pinball scoring. I gotta go Hamels.
Yeah, I will too. That's really close.
McGarrett. I was watching Hawaii 5-0, and that would be McGarrett. Miggy Cabrera and Mike Trout. Miggy, because that's what we did last time.
The same one as the other. I'm looking for a post on the weather. I don't think he's posted anything today. Maybe we can just take that to mean there's no concern.
Okay, I like that. Brandon Moss, Yasiel Puig.
Oh, that's a good one.
Gotta go Moss, don't we?
Wow, I'm really high on Puig tonight. Yeah, I'll take Moss, though, by a hair.
All right, Kinsler, Longoria. I'm leaning towards Kinsler. I know
Yeah,
we
I
went
really
Longoria
like
in the
Kinsler.
last one. Yeah, and then Hanley and Ortiz. We didn't talk a ton about Ortiz. We got to go Ortiz though against Correa, don't we?
Yeah, I like Ortiz. He's one of my favorite plays tonight.
All right. Well, we lined up on this one. Hamels, Cabrera, Moss, Kinsler, and Ortiz, just for fun. Let's do. I'm feeling risky. Let's do 10 to win 100. There we go. Oh, 10 to win 200. Even better. All right. You're getting my bankroll swole here. All right, we're straight up at 6:30. I'm going to do a quick scroll through chat. I got a few things to change. Lowry batting 6th or Suarez batting 9th. I'll still go Lowry.
Yeah, I'll still go Lowry there.
The Suarez discount didn't appear like we thought it would on most of the more popular sites. Stanton and Yuniel Escobar or Cespedes and Suarez. They are just putting that in there to make me say these words.
The team was Stanton, another guy we didn't talk about a whole lot, but I like him tonight.
Is there anybody you want to throw out? We did not mention nary a Florida Marlin, Miami Marlin. Is there anybody we want to talk about quickly? Garrett Jones, lefty-righty, batting 5th. I don't mind that, but they are going incredibly righty. Everybody else is a righty against Jason Hamill. We didn't really talk about Jason Hamill unless that was also one of the ones where we lost sound at the beginning. I don't mind Hamill as a play. I'm a little concerned that the win may not be there because he doesn't have the offense behind him, but his K ability going against a bunch of righties here.
And he's really expensive on DraftKings, so I'm off of him.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Stanton's probably the only guy I'd go for.
All right. Stanton or Brantley?
I'd take Stanton.
I have no horse in that race. Lucroy or Gaddis? We did not mention Gaddis either this evening. Gaddis is
Montero.
Yeah, I don't want to take anybody. I'm not taking anybody against Teheran or Hamill, so that's going to make my decision.
And I'm not on Lucroy because I love Brandon McCarthy.
There we go. Well, look, there you are.
I want to know how highly owned Brandon McCarthy is going to be tonight. I am just sticking my foot in that sand. God, I hope he doesn't get shelled.
Well, this is June 16th. We know that November 4th is Head Chopper Day because he won everything with 7 touchdowns from his quarterback. This could be McCarthy Day, STL Cards Day, June 16th.
I'd be fine with that.
We shall see. I'm rooting for it. This is fun. I may actually have to stay up and check Twitter because I know you're going to be on there one way or the other. So I'll be looking at it from my phone in bed, one eye open, and saying, "Oh, there's Cards writing stuff up again." So that works for me. Any last thoughts, Justin, before we sign off this evening?
No, just double check that weather in Atlanta if you're on one of those pitchers, and good luck tonight.
All right. Thank you, DraftKings. Thank you, Roto Grinders. Thank you, STL Cards. I'm Emac. Good luck, gamers.